Hey guys, today we're doing fractions, decimals, and percents. So let's look at some circles to determine what the fraction, decimal, and percent of the circle being filled in would be. If the whole circle is filled in, then my fraction would be 1/1, or just 1. My decimal would be 1 0/10, and my percent, since the whole thing is filled in, is 100%. If half of this is filled in, then my fraction is 1/2. So 1 representing the piece that's filled in and 2 representing the pieces that are shown. My decimal for that would be 1 divided by 2, which 2 does not go into 1, so it goes in no times. Bring down my decimal point and a 0. 2 goes into 10 5 times, so 0 and 5/10. As a percent, I multiply that by 100 and I get 50%. So from a fraction, we divide to get our decimal. As a decimal, we multiply by 100 to get my percent. Why do I do that? Well, a fraction is really a division problem. So that leads us to the decimal, and the decimal to the percent. Percent means per, or multiply by. Cent means 100, like there's a 100 cents in a dollar. Let's look at a few more. The fraction, how many are filled in? 1 out of how many total? 4. So now we divide 1 by 4, which we know doesn't happen, so we need a decimal point. 4 goes into 10 2 times, with 2 left over. Okay, we need another 0. 4 goes into 20 5 times. So to get our decimal, we get 25 hundredths. Multiply that by 100 and we get 25%. Okay, you try this one right here. How many are filled in? I'll be back in just a second to show you what I did. Okay, for this one, the fraction is 3/4. So if I divide 3 by 4, I know 4 doesn't go into 3, but 4 goes into 37 times, with 2 left over. So bring down another 0. 4 goes into 25 times, so 75 hundredths. Make sure you can see your decimal point. Multiply that by 100 and I get 75%. Do I need to type that in my calculator? No, because I know that multiplying by 100 moves the decimal point 2 places, because if I had 0.75 times 10, it would be 7.5, and times 10 again would be 75, right? So 75 hundredths times 100 is 75. Oops. Okay, let's look at these. Go ahead and try them for me, and I'll be back in just a second to show you what I did. So as a fraction, this one's 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5. Okay, as a decimal, the first one, when I long divide, 5 doesn't go into 1, but it goes into 10 2 times, and 2 times 5 is 10, nothing left over, so 2/10. I don't have to keep dividing each of these because this right here, 2/5, is double 1/5, so that means my decimal gets doubled. This is 3 times that, so that means my decimal gets tripled, so 6/10. And this is 4 times 1/5, so my 2/10 get quadrupled. Okay, the percent is of course 20%, 40% because I'm multiplying by 100 from my decimal, and I'm done. Okay, so if I look at these, the fraction is 1/3 versus 2/3. Now, this one gets a little tricky, but if you think back to dividing with fractions or just division in general, this is what we call a repeating decimal. So 3 goes into 1 no times. Put your decimal point and a 0 for placeholder. 3 goes into 10 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9 with 1 left over. If I keep doing this, the 3 is going to repeat. So this is 3/10 repeating. And same over here. 3 doesn't go into 2, but it goes into 26 times, which is 18. And the 2 is going to keep happening here. So 3 goes into 20, it's going to keep reoccurring as a 6. So now if I think about this as a percent, my decimal point is going to move one place, then another place with another 3, and then the decimal point with the 3 repeating. So this is 33.3 repeating percent. You have a calculator, so if you take 1 divided by 3, you'll get a repeating 3, and then multiply that by 100, and you see 33.3 repeating percent. Now this one gets trickier on your calculator. Divide 2 by 3 in your calculator for me right now. When you look, you'll see a 6 repeating, but then it'll go 6, 6, 6, 6 all the way, and then a 7. That's because your calculator is rounding. It's telling you, okay, hey, this 6 tells this one to become this 6 tells this one to become a 7, and then we stop our calculator because it can't go any further. So we can't look at that 7 because that's a repeater. So instead, we look at 66.6%. So do not put the 7 because that makes the number terminate, and really it actually repeats. So in your calculator's rounding, we don't put that final 7. Now, you should be able to see that that's going to be a 6 all the way through, and then the last number's a 7. So that still shows you that it's a repeating. Okay, over here we have 1/6 and 5/6. So 1 divided by 6. In your calculator, you can do that, or you can long divide like me. And when I long divide, 6 goes into 1 no times, but it goes into 10 6 times, so that's why I have my decimal point. And I subtract and I get 4, bring down another 0, 6 goes into 40 6 times, which is 36. Bring down my 4, bring down another one. Okay, 6 goes into 40, the 6 is going to repeat. So 0 and 16 hundredths, but the 6 is repeating. So when I move my decimal point, if I look here, if I show the repeating 6 like this instead, my decimal point's right here, moves 1 2 spots on my calculator. If I multiply by 100, I'll see a 16 with the 6 repeating, and it's a percent. Okay, let's look at the 5/6. If I divide 5 by 6, I get 0, but I can take 6 and it goes into 50 8 times, which is 48, with 2 left over. Bring down another 0. 6 goes into 23 times, which is 18, and 2, bring down my another 0. Okay, the 3 is going to repeat in this case. So 83 hundredths with the 3 repeating. So I get 83 and 3 repeating percent when I multiply by 100. Okay, you try these 3 for me. Change each fraction to its decimal and percent. I'll be back in just a second to show you what I did. Okay, so I know 3/10 is 3 divided by 10, and it looks like this, 3/10. So multiplying by 100, I get 30%. I could also set it as an equivalent fraction. So 3/10 is 30 hundredths. So 30 hundredths is 30%. 7/20ths, I can divide 7 by 20, and when I do that in my calculator, I get 0 and 35 hundredths. Or I can make equivalent fractions. 20 times 100 is 5, and 7 times 5 is 35. So I know this is 35%. Okay, so I've got all 3 here. 24 divided by 25 in my calculator, I get 96 hundredths, or again, I could have set it equal to 100 and multiplied both by 4 to get 96 hundredths, or 96 percent, like so. See, this one also reads 96 hundredths. So there's a couple different ways to do it. That's all I have for you today. See you next time.